Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. So today we have something which I would consider very exciting news coming from StarWars.com, and I should preface this video with a huge spoiler warning because we're going to be discussing a lot of aspects of the most recent episode of The Bad Batch Season 3. But before we dive into it my dear friends, please consider joining our Megaloid community by hitting the big red subscribe button down below, and never miss an update, my daily Star Wars videos, by hitting the notification bell. But no more jibber jabber, let's begin. So yesterday was one of the most significant Bad Batch episodes we've had in the entire 3-season run. Season 3 episode 9, The Harbinger. I had a lot of fun breaking the episode down, and of course the most important aspect of it was Asajj Ventress' return, and the hint, there's a chance Omega has the Force. But there's one aspect which many found to be very frustrating and Star Wars has now addressed it. Fans are pretty peeved off, frustrated that Asajj's return was not addressed, they didn't show us flashbacks, and some are saying this is a massive retcon of Dark Disciple, so why didn't they explain this return? In the Christie Golden Book, Asajj dies, but there is an allusion at the end of the book to Night Sister magic resurrection. The author of the novel even admits there was always the possibility of them leaving it open for her to return, and she is lowered into waters that start to glow green. Even the book taken at face value doesn't seem like the intent was for her to stay dead. But for casual audiences watching The Bad Batch, I do think they need to show this, address it, tell us how somehow Asajj returned. Lucasfilm tell us there is no law, no canon being broken, so if we use our imagination, it's not too arduous to put 2 and 2 together and work out how she made it out alive. Nevertheless, I really do think for fans who haven't read the book, they should explain this through flashbacks and show us what she's been up to since her last appearance, the deleted Clone Wars arc adapted for the Dark Disciple book. So that brings us on to today's update. Thanks to StarWars.com, who interviewed Nika Futterman, the voice actress of Asajj, as well as the showrunner Jennifer Corbett, we now know what the plan is for Asajj's future for Season 3, and what we can expect from Asajj going forward. They tease this. While we're not going to see how Asajj survived in this show, there are more stories to come, which in my opinion is going to be an Asajj spin-off, which does involve training Omega in the ways of the Force. In a really insightful article titled Ventress Strikes Back, which you wouldn't expect the very day the episode aired, we find out Asajj's return was something planned by Dave Filoni himself. A very Dave move. And I've got to wonder, is he planting the seeds of something to come in the Mandoverse, in his movie in Ahsoka Season 2? Are we going to see Asajj survive until then? At this time, does she know Baylan? Let's put a pin in this just for now. When teasing what's to come for Asajj, the voice actress, Nika Futterman, says this. I thought we had gotten to a place in her story where it was going to continue on in a very interesting way. I just thought, now that she's going to be a bounty hunter, there's just a world of possibility, that she could be anything and do anything, and really become anything. But the Force works in mysterious ways. She says, quote, it was really surprising and very exciting. She's fun, she's interesting, and multi-layered. Okay, so here's the juicy bit. When it comes to Ventress' return, however, there's a need to address the bantha in the room. They say this, Ventress is one of our all-time favourite characters, so when Dave brought up the idea of bringing her into the Bad Batch, we were beyond excited. We had several discussions about the book, and how her story should continue. How she survived will be revealed in future content, but for this story, we were thrilled to include her and explore her unique connection to, and compassion for Omega. So there's our answer. It will be revealed in future content. That's what Jennifer Corbett says. How she survived is something they thought about, they considered, they even answered in their discussions. But we're not going to see that in the Bad Batch's final season. That is being saved for something else. They're promising something in future content. And my mind first went to an Asajj Ventress spin-off, which I do think at this stage is something more or less guaranteed. They did talk about this being an appetizer and there is more to come. It might even be a subplot in a Clone Rebellion show based on Echo and Rex. But then it dawned on me, The Bad Batch Season 3 is not the only animated show we're getting in 2024. We're also getting Tales of the Jedi Season 2, and now this makes me think we're gonna get a short that involves Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos, exploring some of the unfinished Clone Wars arc, some of Dark Disciple, and her resurrection. That would be something I would strongly bet on happening. They're probably going to continue a story in some form in the present day, but Tales of the Jedi, in my opinion, is a very strong contender for seeing Quinlan, Asajj, their relationship, fighting Dooku, meeting her supposed end, resurrecting, and maybe she's in contact with the likes of Merrin. or some other Night Sisters like Morgan Elsbeth. There could be this massive interconnectivity. Considering a lot of this surrounds Dathomir, it could tie into Dave Filoni's wider plans, ones which have ties to the New Republic further down the line. If Omega trains under Asajj, by then, considering she doesn't have accelerated aging, is she a Force wielder? StarWars.com goes on to say this: they found a way to continue her story. I think they must have discovered that the fans really love this character. And getting a sense of how the fandom reacted to this episode, it appears to me that most are very excited that Asajj is back, but we still have tons of questions. I can't see us getting too much more Asajj until maybe the end of the season, but for now, we're all very curious to see where this goes. There are so many sides to Ventress. She insists that she is not the enemy of the batch. So many things have changed since the time of the war. The creators knew this was going to generate a ton of questions, a ton of unknowns. Who is she in contact with at this time? What are the implications of her survival for those she's known? What her ultimate goal might be? I guess, my dear friends, we just have to be a bit patient. Something which is strongly emphasized by both Jennifer Corbett but also the voice actress of Asajj is how Omega's well-being and overall purpose are very important to Ventress, more than we think. She's very much playing coy and holding back so much of her true intentions. So I think it's important before the end of the season that we do get another appearance from her. Another big reveal from the voice actress is where Asajj lies in her allegiances. Is she using the dark side? Is she redeemed and using the light? She says this: she is certainly closer to the light side of the Force, but there's still an edge to her. She seems to be genuinely concerned for Omega's well-being and wanting to do good in her life. I wouldn't go as far as saying she's a dark Jedi, a term which is often loosely floated around, so in some ways similar to Baylan and Shin, but in her own way. We don't know if she's still working with Quinlan Vos, if she is working with Force sensitives, but that seems to be the strong implication for her interest in Omega. I really can't wait to see where this all leads. Omega already stood out in the first 2 seasons, and many fans wanted to deny the fact there was any kind of Force connection. There still might not be, but in my opinion that is the road they're heading down. The Bad Batch's legacy might be the first Force-sensitive clone. But what do you guys think? Were you happy with Asajj's return in this episode? What do you want to see in the final 6 episodes? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.